Good afternoon. It is Tuesday. We just had a beautiful Easter break with my little one. And I was really pleased I was able to get a gift for her that she asked Santa for this past year. And it just simply wasn't in my budget. And so I promised her that the Easter Bunny could bring it in hopes the Easter Bunny could. Not really sure if I was taking a risk or not. And sure enough, the Easter Bunny came through and she was able to get her outdoor playhouse. I was really thrilled to make that happen. It brought a lot of joy to me, and I could see the joy on her face. And for her, that playhouse is her own little oasis. And I know she's taking care of her little playhouse now. She has a little rug in there and a little chair and a little footstool. And it's just like her space. And I absolutely love that for her. There's a lot of things going on. So last week I spoke on celebrating this new venture, right? This transformation, being blonde, really feeling like I'm in my most authentic self, seeing myself in the mirror and no longer seeing the villain, and really seeing me and celebrating the self-love and self-worth and my value. And I still am, but now I've turned the tables a little bit, and now I'm feeling as though I'm in this stage of grief mentally, because I truly am letting go of a huge piece of me. And it's something I've worked really hard towards, and it's something that I have put a lot of hard work in my healing, in my pivots, in my transformation, in my spiritual awakening. And I've taken a lot of steps. And now I'm in a space where the steps I need to start taking are more financially stable. You know, I've taken almost 3 hard years where I really truly haven't had financial independence. I have been struggling every paycheck. But I knew that going through these hard, difficult times, I was giving the space. Now, granted, again, like, I'm still keeping food on the table for my little one, and I still have a roof over my head. I'm still in the same home I moved into in 2019. So God has provided to make sure that that's taken care of and that she's taken care of and we are taken care of. Absolutely. The universe has provided. But now I'm feeling this pull where it's like, okay, you've done the hard mental work. Okay, now it's time to pivot to really create the life you want for you and your daughter financially, that financial stability. And so now the projects I'm taking on are really pivoting me for that. I just recently made the deposit for my book to work with a writing coach and move forward to have that deadline set for the middle of summer. I have my first TV appearance on May 10th. I recently had my first major public speaking event a few weeks ago. And so I'm starting to make those moves. I'm really starting to take the steps for my financial independence, right? And really take hold of that purpose, of which my purpose and my goal is simply to be out there speaking on transformation. Speaking with survivors, speaking with women, and letting them know, like, I see you. And that transformations are true. Pivots are real. Being vulnerable is a superpower. Showing your emotions, that's a superpower. And it takes time, and it takes love, and it takes courage, bravery to fill that space in yourself. You know, there was a piece that I was listening to this morning on TikTok that really spoke to me, because I'm still there. There was a therapist who was speaking on survivors of trauma and how we have a tendency of only speaking in conversations with ourselves to ourselves. It's something I still very much do. I do it in my sleep. I will speak to myself out loud. And what I learned while listening to her about this talk to self, right, is I learned I still have trust issues. She stated that when we are constantly in conversation with ourselves, more than having conversation with others, it's a trauma response. It's a trauma response. It's feeling like we can't trust anyone around us with our conversations. It's feeling as though we can't trust anyone around us because we feel any words that we express, our emotions, our thoughts, our influence, that those words could be used against us down the road. Childhood trauma right there. And so we have a tendency to go forward for a very long time to only have conversations with ourselves. I have such in-depth conversations with myself. I have dreams about it. I have dreams of sitting with myself, having coffee or a glass of wine, and just seeing myself sitting with me, and we're having a full-blown conversation about the projects that I'm working on, about conversations about the relationship I'm in or relationship I want to be in, my friendships, etc. And I realize I utilize this space more than anything else, is my own personal space. And that space within me that I know I can trust my inner thoughts and my inner conversation more than I can with other people. And I've been in such an extreme, in-depth isolation. It's not a bad thing. And I am working towards opening the door more, having more conversations that are with my tribe, my soul tribe. And I still have moments where I don't feel like I can trust anyone. Or the thought that, well, if I talk about how I really like this person after, saying only like a month ago I liked another person, they're going to think I'm crazy. And, and then like I start questioning what I'm saying or how I'm expressing myself or how I'm projecting my thoughts could be thrown back or against me in a way that is all up here. It's an illusion. Whether it's talking about relationships or friendships or ideas or even work projects, it's really hard. It's still hard for me to push outside my comfort zone, to really be in that space where I can talk to others, right? And so I've been practicing this a little bit more and more by speaking with you every week. This is my vulnerability. This is my time. This is where I talk about my highs, my lows, my growth mindset, my sometimes mental instability, my vulnerability, and this is my space because technically how I see it is right now I'm looking myself in the mirror. And so, that was a great burp. Fantastic. Yay. And so when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't feel like I know I'm talking to someone out there, right? But at the same time, while I'm speaking, I'm really just talking to myself. It's that same idea that I have when I have my dreams and I'm talking to myself. And a lot of times, like the vision I have of talking to myself, I'm in downtown Paris at a little cafe, people watching, enjoying springtime. Yeah, it's a little detailed, but that's like one of my happy spaces. If you see behind me, I have a lot of Impressionist art, and I love French art. I love European masterpieces, and so like a lot of times, the way I get into my oasis is I think about being in Europe and talking with myself. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is about an hour ago, I had a power nap because I truly believe in power naps. I believe that power naps are essential every day. If you can give yourself 15 to 20 minutes every day just to revamp, reboot, around the lunchtime hour, like I promise you, it helps you greatly up here. So I was in my power nap, and I was genuinely in one of those conversations again with myself, talking about the last 7 days, talking about the highs and the lows, talking about this feeling of grief that I have been overcome with over the last few days of really letting go of something I've been very comfortable with within myself, which is myself. I feel like I'm genuinely in this space where I am that caterpillar. I am ready to spread my butterfly wings and fly. And I'm thrilled and confident, but at the same time, I feel it's a little bit of grief. Like, okay, like the person I was even 2 years ago is not there anymore. The person I was 6 months ago is no longer there. Hell, the person I was a month ago has transformed and evolved. The person I was 3 days ago, still evolving, still growing, still learning. And it's scary because for me personally, this is the first time in my life where I genuinely don't feel like I need a relationship. That I'm happy with the relationship with myself. I'm happy with the relationship I have with my kid. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with my life. And that is absolutely terrifying. It truly gets me out of my comfort zone. Because for years, since high school, I have been in a space where I've always been in a relationship. I've always been in a relationship. And it's something I speak on many terms with you all, is on like many, I won't say terms, but I speak a lot about my past, right? And I speak a lot about how even when I was in the sex rings, I still had boyfriends who had no fucking idea that that is where I was when I was working. So I've constantly had a male presence, and yes, sometimes female presence, in my life at all times. I've constantly been in relationships. I have pivoted from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. And now I'm in this season of, like that, I don't know if I really want that. Now let me rephrase that. I know I don't want that. Because I recognize my value and my worth. And for me personally, for the right man to walk into my life, they have to walk in already knowing my value. They have to walk in already recognizing I see my worth. They have to walk in recognizing I already recognize and love myself deeply. And allow me to continue to be that person. I know that's crazy to say sometimes, right? Because you're like, allow you to be, like, what relationships have you been in where they just haven't been able to be you? I'm like, well, a lot. A lot. And to be honest, that's why there's been a lot of pivots in relationships for me too, is because it's like there's like this 3-month golden rule. And I recently saw something on Instagram where it's like, if you don't make it to the 3-month mark, it wasn't a relationship, it was an internship. I'm like, yes. Because there's been many relationships, dating, casual, some dive in very quickly and get serious within weeks. But many of them, they all start out the same way. We go on a few dates, they're great. I talk about my dreams and my ambition, my purpose, where I'm going. I talk about my healing. I talk about, hey, you know who I was isn't who I am, and I'm still figuring out who she is. And as time goes on, they realize everything I said in those first few dates is genuinely true, and I'm taking actions on that. And once that's found, it's like a flip of a switch. And it may also be because I attract the toxic man. I do. I don't anymore. I don't claim that I do anymore. But I have attracted the toxic man for a very long time. The toxic man with extensive, deep childhood trauma that they've never healed. The toxic man that has no self-love for themselves, so they find it in relationships and they find it in the attention. They're attention seekers. The toxic man that has been heartbroken so many times over and reflects that every chance they can with any relationship because they feel that every relationship is going to be the same as the ex. The toxic man that says exactly what you want to hear and manipulate you and love bomb you right away to hold on to you, so you take that bait. And then as you see their true colors, like, nah, I don't want that. I have dated so many versions of toxic men. Yet at the same time, I know for a fact there are men out there who say I'm the toxic one. Yeah, there is a two-way street. Women can be toxic too, and I definitely can be toxic. I'm working on those toxic traits, 100%. I'm breaking those patterns, yes. But I've attracted the same toxic man. Different versions, yes, but it's very similar mental state. One of which I feel like I can fix them, right? For so long, I've utilized my life coaching skills and also put that into my relationships for a really long time. And I had to learn the hard way multiple times over, I cannot do that. My personal cannot cross. If anything, there can be a bridge from time to time, yes. But they should not cross. And that is on me. Anytime any of these save me kind of relationships would come up with men who I felt needed saving, or needed that inspiration, or needed the healing, or needed that pivot, or needed that push to change, right? I felt really good in myself that, oh my God, like I'm helping him out. He's going to be perfect. He's going to change. That is a toxic trait I bring to the table. Duh. I had to learn to stop doing that. And as I stopped doing that, right? Well, I started learning more about myself. I started recognizing my value and my worth because I was no longer putting all that energy into a man, into the relationship, completely emptying my cup to make it work, and instead continuously filling mine. And as I continue to fill mine and see my value and see my worth and recognize my self-love and really grow into myself and evolve, it became clear to me that I can do this without a man by my side. And that is scary. That is scary for me. Being 32, a single mom, I can do this without a man. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. Because this is not the reality I had for myself. And a lot of times, the reality we live right now is not the reality we thought of ourselves when we were 16, when we were in our young 20s. Heck, this is not the reality I had for myself 5 years ago. It's not. Do I want to be a wife? Have that partnership? Share a home? Create more babies? Yes. That is part of me that I will always crave. Kind of makes me emotional a little bit to think of that because it's something I really, really want. I really want to be someone's genuine partner in life. I really want more kids. I really want to know that when I say my vows, I mean them in a way that I know that we weren't pushed to get married because of the actions and situations at hand, that we were in this space, in this love together because that's where we want to be. Not where we need to be, but where we want to be. I want to be able to say my vows and know that these vows will last me till the day I die. I want that. I do. And so you have your good days and your bad days. Some days you're like, man, I want to share my life with someone. And then you have good days where you're like, it's okay. Right now you're in the season of you, and there's no one to tell you what to do, how to do it, when dinner should be ready. It's just you right now. Enjoy it. And then there's also this feeling, wow, I wish I enjoyed this more when I was in my 20s. Instead of always pushing relationships, instead of always pushing to never be alone. But life, the universe, God works in mysterious ways. I needed to grow up. And I love who I am. And I'm still learning to love who I am. And one day, in divine timing, with trust in the universe, trust in God, the right man will come into my life. And we will build a friendship. And from a friendship, we will build love. And with love, we will build the rest of our life. I will one day have that marriage I want. I will one day make more babies. But right now, the universe is saying, hey, let's focus on this opportunity for your growth in your business to be more financially stable. Let's focus on the growth and the message and your purpose and where you're headed. Let's focus on this book. Let's focus on the celebration of being a mom. Let's just focus on you. Yay. Let's just focus on you. I've never had that time. I've always pushed to not have that time, to be honest. Like I said, when I first moved here, I hated being alone. I hated it. I made friends. I had boyfriends. I never alone. And if I ever did feel alone, I would go to a brewery or go to a bar, sit around and meet new people and not be alone until it's time to go to bed. Nowadays, I love being alone. I love it. Sitting home, having a glass of wine by myself, sitting at home, having a late night cup of coffee because no one's there to judge me. Sitting home on my back porch and watching my little one play. Yeah, I love it. And I have my seasons. Like, I have seasons where I love sleeping in my bed alone. Love it. Sleep the best. And then I still have other seasons where no one can judge me, but hey, I sleep on the couch. Because we only have one TV, too. That's a big rule in my house. TV's for the living room. There's no TV in the bedroom or her room. No TV. There's one TV. I believe a home should have its oasis, and I believe a home, especially a kid's room, should. And this is my own opinion, so please, no judging here. But I believe like a children's room shouldn't have those distractions at a young age. I think it's important to encourage our children to have that creative imagination, to play house, play pretend, and have that space, that rainbow, unicorn, magical pixie dust space in their room. And again, that's my own opinion. If you are a really busy person and having a TV in your kids' rooms helps you get that little bit of me time every day, go for it. Absolutely. No judging here. There's no mom shaming here at all. I believe we all parent differently. There's no parenting book. We have a lot of pre-pregnancy books and, get you ready for baby. But I believe we all parent in a way that is best suited for us. Some of us parent the same way our parents parented us. Some of us parent in a way that our parents are the complete opposite. And some of us we're just trying to do our very best. There is no right or wrong in parenting, in my opinion. And so, this growth and the celebration I spoke of last week, I was like, I'm just going to sit in it. It's something true and something I am finding myself to be celebrating more and more, but I'm also feeling that energy of grief, that emotion of grief, because I truly am letting her go. Her. The past me. I'm letting her go, and it is scary and it's uncomfortable, and it's I don't know what tomorrow brings because I've been so comfortable with her for so long. It's scary. But they say that when you step out of the comfortable into the uncomfortable, you're on the right path. You're evolving, you're growing. So the more I feel uncomfortable, the more I'm realizing I am on the right path. I'm doing what's right. For me, for my kid, and as I continue forward, maybe my version of Prince Charming will come around. I'm not expecting him anytime soon. But when the universe knows, they'll let me know. And in time, while I wouldn't say I'm waiting for that. But until that time comes, I will continue to work on me. So when that time comes for that partnership I hope for one day, I will be able to give my all because I already know me pretty well. And that person will be that piece of the puzzle that is filling my heart a little more. I still think it's still crazy to me to be looking myself in my camera right now and seeing my blonde hair. You know, back in 2017, I did try to go blonde for a hot moment. I was very depressed and I wasn't authentic in myself at all. And it was a very brief time I was blonde, and I immediately went back to red hair. I couldn't do it yet. I couldn't see myself in the mirror yet. I was very depressed. I was going through some very extreme postpartum depression. And my PTSD, I hadn't had a grasp on yet. And so for me, being blonde now is something I haven't done in 15 years because I don't count that time in 2017. It was a very dark and blurry time for me. So I don't count it. So for me, saying, hey, I'm now authentically me and I haven't seen her in 15 years is the genuine truth. I haven't seen me in 15 years. And the me I see now is completely different than the me I was 15 years ago. But I will tell you, the me I see now is the me I hoped to have been 15 years ago. So my 17-year-old self is so proud of the woman I am today and going after my dreams, becoming that motivational speaker, utilizing my voice, writing that book. I've been talking about writing a book since I was a teenager. I didn't know what that was going to be or when the timing was or how it was going to look, but it was something I has been speaking on even with my mother since I was in my teenage years. Like, I just want to write a book about life. I also realized I need to live life a little bit more before writing it, and now I feel like I have gone a full circle, and now I'm stepping into this new self, so now it's even more prominent that I'm in this space to finish the book, get it out this year, and truly start what's next in life. I'm stepping into my new beginning. Every single day I'm stepping into my new beginning. Little by little. Not very fast. And that's best for me. I used to be such a fast-paced woman. That's how I got through my day, was being that way. It's just everything was go, go, go all day. Well, nowadays, I take a pace that's much slower. Still full of success, still full of accomplishment, but it's a slower pace. And it's a slower space, like it's different. I appreciate and value my body in that time. I appreciate the value I have in myself, and I celebrate how I can listen to myself. So, for example, around 1 o'clock today, and my body was like, hey, just take a few minutes to close your eyes. I listened to that. But what stemmed from that is a conversation with myself. Take care of your body. Do the journaling. Take the meditation. take the power nap. Make the phone call that makes you feel whole. The person that makes me feel most whole in my life is my sister, Brittany. We speak most often, almost every day. And I could not do life without her. She's my everything. She's someone I can confide in, trust. So do that for yourself too. Who's the one person you can pick up the phone anytime and trust and just talk about your day, vent about it, talk about life, and know that that conversation isn't going to leave the space the two of you are in that moment. Call that person. Fill your cup. Start the gym. If you're into the gym, start taking those walks daily. Start going to bed early. I love going to bed early. I'm like in bed between 9 and 10 most nights. And granted there's seasons where I'm not in bed until like 1 o'clock in the morning. But I love going to bed early. It's the best. You got this. And I appreciate you continuously working through this journey with me and letting me be part of your life and allowing me to speak like this and listening. You are amazing. And I'm proud of who you are. And I trust in you. I do. You show up every week to listen to me talk about life. Sometimes it's a scattered conversation and other times it's to the point. So thank you. Thank you for being present. You're valued. All right, have a beautiful week. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.